Welcome to Speak For Yourself, Marcel Swally. Yes, in the nick of time. Hi, Emmanuel Acho. I actually like you today with your open chest, rocket look.
You know what I'm saying?
Looking good.
I've tried.
You think you look good for real? Tell me the truth.
Every now and then I feel myself, and today is one of them days, big dog.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna make sure we get through this show without you feeling yourself. Let's get it started right now in Dallas with somebody who's feeling himself. Dak Prescott, because he's been balling up late. You hear that, Acho? And his Cowboys will try to bounce back from their season opening loss, but they're dealing with a lot of obstacles. The Pro Bowl defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence, beast, expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a broken foot. My foot! He's joining fellow starters Randy Gregory, Lyle Collins, and Michael Gallup, who are all currently out. So Acho, open chest man, is Dak enough to keep the Cowboys afloat?
No, he is not, sir. And it's no knock on my dog, Dak Prescott. It's going to be a fast-paced show. I need y'all to keep up with me. I'm starting with the big board.
No wonder you're in fully dressed.
We going to the big board. We going. I see people power walk like this. I have to get over here in time. Now, look.
What?
When I talk about quarterbacks and Dak not necessarily being good enough to keep the Cowboys afloat, I look at 4 groups of quarterbacks, America, and y'all can't really deny it. There are bad quarterbacks, Sel. There are good quarterbacks, Sel. There are really good quarterbacks, Sel. And then there are overcomers. Now, y'all rock with me. Think about your favorite quarterback and where he lands. I'm not going to talk about the bad ones, so let's just start with them good dudes. The good quarterbacks, they're not really good, not overcomers, but Teddy B, he's a good quarterback. You can't deny it. He wins where he goes. Derek Carr, he reminded everyone on primetime, he's a good quarterback. He started out flirting with really great. Kirk Cousins, no denying that he is a good quarterback. He's not bad. I don't think he's elite, but he's good. Then you got that dude, Tyrod Taylor. He's a good quarterback. He won some games. He's won in Buffalo, won a couple games in Cleveland. He won in Houston. But now let's move to that next tier, where Dak Prescott falls, the really good QBs. Josh Allen. That boy is really good. Lamar Jackson, unanimous MVP, undeniably really good. Dak Prescott, career winner. When he's on the field, typically the Cowboys win games. He's really good. And my dog Matthew Stafford, y'all already know what time it is with that dude Stafford. Talent-wise, one of the best we've seen, but overall, really good. But Sel, here is where Dak lacks.
Dak lacks.
Because that next tier is the tier of overcomers. I'm going to break this down for y'all so simply. Let's start with Russell Wilson. We're going to start on this side. Russell Wilson, remember last year, he started 5-0, though his team had the worst defense in the NFL and one of the worst in Seahawks history. Russell Wilson is an overcomer. Aaron Rodgers, without Davante Adams, without maybe the best receiver in the league, he's a career 6-0, at least the last 3 years without Davante Adams. He is a overcomer. Patrick Mahomes, I have an asterisk by him because he hasn't had to overcome. But I would safely assume that if Tyreek Hill or Kelsey were to go down without meaningful minutes, meaningful games, he'd be an overcomer. Tom Brady, go back to 2004. Secondary so decimated that they were starting Troy Brown playing significant time at the nickelback position, a wide receiver. Overcomer. This is a group of overcomers. So Dak Prescott is really good. But still, it takes an overcomer to keep a team afloat when you are so decimated by injuries. No, I don't think Dak can keep the Cowboys afloat. Not because he's not really good, not because he's not in really good company, but still, he's not in that next tier, my dog, of overcomers.
Go over here. Merengue sauce over here. I like that. Look at you, boy, showing that ankle cleavage. Oh, look at you. You have everything going except buttoned up and no lotion on them ankles.
I lotioned them today.
No, you did?
I did.
Boy, you need
not twice.
Boy, you need baby oil then. You might need some Crisco or something. What the hell wrong with your ankles? Okay, here we go. Woo! I got so many things to attack right now. Golly, why you give me all these punching bags? Everything you said was bad, good, really good, and you overcame some things. But you know what? In totality, man, let's just start off with the bad. How the hell you gonna take a shot at Dak Prescott? Is Dak good enough to keep the Cowboys afloat? Absolutely. You're just gonna act like Dak Prescott didn't just put up a winning performance. Winning performance, not winning outcome, winning performance, and damn near by himself, single-handedly beat the champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, he didn't have Zeke. Zeke wasn't helping. He was helping the other team. He didn't have his kicker. His kicker wasn't helping him. Greg Zeke was helping the other team. And the referee. Oh, come on, man. I believe you now, Acho. That was offensive PI. Yeah, they should have called that one. Oh, but they didn't. Everybody going against Dak Prescott. And what did Dak Prescott go out there to do? Single-handedly overcoming his offensive line issues. You know what he did? He He went out there and went 42 of 58, 72% completion percentage, 403 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 101 passer rating. People could get lost in those gaudy numbers, but let's talk about what those numbers look like to Dak. It was only the second time, Acho, I'm going to slow this down,
please,
in Dak's career when he had a completion percentage of 72 or greater and lost. Dak is now 16-2 in games like that. Basically, what I'm saying to you is, Dak does that. They win 16 games and have only lost 1 before we saw it last week. Mind-blowing, Marcellus. How'd you find that nugget? Because I like Andy. Andy's a great researcher. All right, Dak has now thrown for 400 or more yards in 4 of his last 5 starts. Dak has now had 3 or more passing touchdowns in 3 of his last 4 starts. Dak is second in passing yards after week 1. 5th with 3 passing touchdowns after week 1. And you saying you don't know if Dak can keep the Cowboys alive? Keep them alive? He's the only reason why they have a heartbeat right now. Now let's get into your points over there. That big boy. I ain't running over there because I'm already sweating. If I go over there, I come back, I'm drenched. Here's the thing. You had the nerve to put Tom Brady on the same tier with other people.
Yes, sir.
You should know as an analyst that's already strike 1, 2, and 3 probably. No one else compares to Tom Brady. I don't know why. You don't know why. That keeps us employed. Because if we know the answer, football's over. Because we don't understand Tom Brady. He's by himself. How in the hell did you put Patrick Mahomes up there as an overcomer? Did he overcome that offensive line?
Did you not hear me? You don't listen when I talk.
I heard
you don't listen when I talk. I put an asterisk by his name because I said he ain't had to overcome yet.
Yes, thank you. Did you see who the asterisk with Russell Wilson? You think I'm only coming out here single-handed? No, I'm loaded. Did you put an asterisk by Russell Wilson? I just started at the top. Did you put one by him in his 3-6 playoff record of late? No. Did you put one by Aaron Rodgers in his 1-4 championship record? Tom Brady done won as many NFC championship games as him. Did you put, they overcome? He overcoming that non-top 10 defense out there? Bruh, I don't like when you go up there and you start to cook the books or cook the logic. All I'm saying is, last time I saw Dak Prescott healthy, he had the #1 total offense, 2019. I ain't even talking about that abbreviated season last year where he still was on NFL historical pace. Also, Dak Prescott, when healthy, has never had a losing season. You add up all the gumbo I'm cooking, it tastes better than you running to that big boy.
So let me ask you a question, sir. I know you spend a lot of time in the entertainment industry, just you have an affinity for it. Did you ever see the movie Fences? Denzel, Viola Davis, you ever see that?
No, like a Chicago basement.
It was a good movie. It was a good movie.
I know.
Did you see Denzel's movie Flight, American Gangster?
I saw American Gangster. Can't lie and say it was great.
That's fine, but you saw
good.
American Gangster.
I don't remember that.
Nonetheless,
all right, go.
I bring this up to say there's a difference between winning performances and a winning outcome. Because all them movies, Denzel did not win no Academy Awards for them. So don't talk to me about winning performances. The Dak Prescott
really? We're not going to do that?
No. I want to hear about winning outcomes, sir, not winning performances. Now, I'm going to break this down further because it's really indisputable. This is not subjective. It is objective. Matthew Stafford's really good. No denying that. He's really good. But he's 0-3 in the playoffs, and he could not overcome his poorest situation with the Detroit Lions. No knock on him. He's still really good. Josh Allen, really good. But before he had Diggs, before Beasley was in that slot eating, he was 10-6. Now you give him Diggs, you give him Beasley, he balling. But Josh Allen was not overcoming. Lamar Jackson is a beast. Unanimous MVP. But whether you want to call it Greg Roman, whether you want to call it a lack of a superstar wide receiver, whether you want to call it Harbaugh, he has not been able to overcome. Dak Prescott, rookie season, got an MVP vote. Let's go, Dak.
Let's go, Dak.
But he also had maybe the best offensive line we've seen since the turn of the century. He also had a younger Dez Bryant. He had 3 Hall of Famers on that offensive line, at least 2. You know, Tyron Smith going in and Zach Martin probably going in. So he had one of the best offensive lines we've seen since the turn of the century. He had a younger Dez. He had a younger Cole Beasley. And he had a pre-retirement Jason Witten. But the second Dak Prescott lost that. Uh-oh, Dez. 2017, you hurt. Jason Witten, you already contemplating retirement. Oh, now you about to get up out of here. Tyron Smith, you missed 3 games and were injured the majority of the season. He did not overcome. It's not a knock, y'all. Dak is really, really good. We have to learn in life that you can be really good and not yet be an overcomer. Now, why did I bring up my dog Russ?
Not an overcomer?
No, because look. The Seahawks and the Cowboys had the 31st ranked defense and the 32nd ranked defense respectively, last year in the first 4 games of the season. One team, the Seahawks, were 4-0 with the 31st ranked defense. One team, the Dallas Cowboys, were 1-3 with the 32nd ranked defense. We saw the Cowboys and the Seahawks play each other. We saw that game come down to the final 4 possessions. Dak, Russ, Dak, Russ. Dak got a field goal, Russ got a touchdown. Dak got a field goal, Russ got a touchdown. One is an overcomer. They are both really good, but one can keep their team afloat in the midst of the chaos. Dak Prescott has not proven himself to do that. I'm not giving you anything that's subject to my own opinion. I'm only giving you objective data based on what we've seen over the course of Dak Prescott's career. Really good, America. Please don't tweet at me. Please don't DM me. Please don't text me. I don't check my DMs anyway. Unless.
My dog.
He's really good, but he is not an overcomer.
I can't. I really can't. One day you tell me the marketplace determines your value, but the next day you go up there with some ashy ankles and you make up your own list and start telling me that's the value.
Lotion.
Look, okay, lotion, but not enough. But now you go up there and tell me that's the value placement. Did the marketplace tell me what Dak is valued? I should trust that more than I should trust you, or should I trust you more than that? Make up your mind, make up your days. You told me yesterday to trust the marketplace. I will. Dak is what, the 3rd highest paid player in NFL history? Sounds like okay, but forget all that because you're trying to say this is not my subjective opinion. No, this is my subjective opinion, laced with objective facts. Who has the most wins since Dak has been in the NFL? 2016, 2019 seasons. We're talking about all his healthy starting seasons. Who has the most wins? Tom Brady. Come on, man. I keep telling you, dog, the NFL will be answered once you can figure out Tom Brady. Tom Brady's number 1. Who's right behind him, though? I wonder if you know who it is. It's Dak Prescott, number 2. Oh, Acho, not an overcomer. And you just told me how porous his defenses have been. You just told me that Zeke has been in decline every year since his rookie year. But it ain't Dak Prescott overcoming. Let's go somewhere else. I give you another name, since you want to mention all these overcomers and not mention Dak Prescott. Who has the highest passer rating in their first 5 seasons in NFL history since the Super Bowl era? It's Russell Wilson, but he's an overcomer. Who's number 2? Damn, I wonder if you know it's Dak Prescott. Once again, Dak Prescott shows he overcomes. But everybody who he's on the list with can become an overcomer. I can even go all time. Dan Marino's number 3. But you won't put Dak Prescott in the same category as though he has qualified with those same greats in that category? Make it make sense, Acho, because right now, your subjective talk is starting to sound a little haterade.
You just don't listen.
I do. That's the problem. Y'all don't realize what I got to deal with up here. Y'all get to watch this show right now. Y'all might be at the couch. Y'all might be at the work. Y'all might be chilling, taking a day off.
At the work? If they at work watching us,
I know.
They ain't going to be laughing.
Nice.
I get it.
They chilling, and y'all don't realize I'm up here suffering. Pain and suffering trying to talk to this hard-headed individual.
I am hard-headed. I agree with that.
Sel.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, you know his record because you always regurgitate it to me versus the NFC East. He's 19-6.
Nice.
Great. But Dak Prescott versus everybody else.
Who everybody else?
23-22.
Who's everybody else?
He real average. So, yes, Dak Prescott might be able to overcome versus the NFC East, but when I look at how he plays versus everybody else, it don't look all that good. So I'm not even... 1, I'm not being rude. 2,
1, it comes to 2. We got to go there.
We're doing the show.
And we about to go there.
Show.
Okay, keep going.
Okay.
You are done. This is over.
The first thing is this.
What?
I'm being kind.
No, you're not.
I come up here every now and then. I give y'all a hot take. I can't stand Acho. Why is he always talking about Dak? I spent the majority of the first 13 minutes of the show saying he's really good. It's fine to be really good. It's fine to go to Columbia. Everybody can't go to Harvard. Okay, everybody can. Okay, so just because it's fine. You live in a great life. You live in a great life. Everybody can't go to Harvard. Everybody can't be an overcomer. Dak Prescott, really good, but when push comes to shove, he's never proven to be able to keep his team afloat, big dog. Ever. Ever in life.
Okay, I'm about to show you this right now. That was amazing. Acho, you are really fighting for this one. Yes. And maybe winning. I'm not sure about this. This is no knockout in this round. Here's the thing. You told me yesterday, and you just implied right now, that Dak against other teams. What you basically was saying, the good teams. What you yesterday was saying, the playoff teams. Because the NFC East is the NFC East.
Of course.
I understand you, Acho. Oh, I love my life. Dak last season versus team that made the playoffs. What was his record? 0-3. You talked about it yesterday. I looked it up. I said, we talk so fast and we like each other. Sometimes we don't want to refute in the moment. Let me make sure. I made sure. He was donut. 0-3. But how did Dak play? Oh, my God. 413 passing yards average? How did he play? 8 touchdowns, only 3 picks? 101 passer rating? Wait a minute. We losing against these teams, but damn, you can't point at me, Coach. Red dot is not on Dak.
Fair.
That's fair. Let's go to this. Last 7 games that teams that made the playoffs. Okay. I was like, what's the record? 1-6.
Somewhere.
Uh-oh.
Better go somewhere.
Uh-oh. But what?
Go somewhere.
What's the passing yards? 340? 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 2-1. 93 passer rating, which is dropped, but still above that.
Of course.
It ain't red dot on Dak.
It's not.
And you know you've been there before. When you sit there, I've been there before. 2 sacks. And everybody, we lost. I can't even pop champagne. I'm like, damn, dog, I balled out. Then I've been there before when we won. I ain't do jack, and I'm sitting there celebrating. So don't you let Dak get washed away in the wash.
Okay, I got my best take coming up now. I saved the best for last. I apologize.
Coming up?
You only tuned into the first 15. Because at the 16th minute, it's going in.
Okay.
I love my dog because my dog loves track. I love my dog because my dog loves track.
I was watching it last night.
That's why I love my dog. So we gonna talk, America.
Let's go.
In a 4x4 100-meter relay, 4x4 100-meter relay,
Mile relay,
that anchor leg, now it's your best leg. In a 4x1, sometimes it depends. But in that mile relay, 4 people running 4 laps, that last person running that last lap, my dog, typically it is your best leg, but I know you've told me before, y'all had another fast guy, blah, blah, blah. Nonetheless, it's typically your best leg. Some dudes and some dudettes, some men and some women.
It is a different world.
They run very fast legs.
Yes.
But
yes,
there are individuals who you can give the baton to, and you know, regardless of what they have to make up, they're just going to win.
They're just going to get it.
They're just going to get it. If I need you to go run a 47 split as a woman, you're going to give me a 47. Yeah. If I need you to go run a 43 as a man, you're going to give me a 43. Now, it's not to say the woman who ran 48.5, that's a very fast split, didn't run fast. But there are some people where, regardless of the distance, they're just going to win. I'm with you that when Dak plays these games, he is running a very fast split. 8 touchdowns, 3 picks, over 400 yards. I'm giving you all of that. Dak is doing his job. But there are some people, Allison Felix. There are some people, Usain Bolt. There are some people, soon to be Sidney McLaughlin. There are some people, Athing Mo. There are some people, Michael Johnson. There are some people that, when they get the baton,
matter.
I ain't got to watch.
I
just got to wait for them to cross the finish line. And that's where I'm at. Dak Prescott will run a fast split, but Tom Brady, you give him the baton last possession of the game. Russell Wilson, he got the ball last possession of the game. Aaron Rodgers, he got the ball typically last possession of the game. Patrick Mahomes, he got the ball last possession of the game. I ain't got to watch. Y'all just let me know when we win. And that is where the overcomers are, and Dak's just not there yet. I'm going to break because I just went with the knockout.
No, I'm going to give you this.
My dog.
You dropped the mic on me right there. I ain't mad at that. And you can hear the crowd and try to go, here comes Tom Brady. A little different, I give you that. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers was already having a rough week. Now he's being called out by former teammates. We'll tell you if we agree with the criticism. But first, Lamar Jackson has called the Chiefs his kryptonite. We'll tell you what's at stake for him Sunday against Patrick Mahomes and KC next. Don't speak for yourself. Boy, did you save the best for last.
Well, Lamar Jackson's going to have a huge game against the Chiefs Sunday night, but there's a problem. Lamar's 0-3 against Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs. The former MVP is an impressive 30-5 against the rest of the league. But he said, quote, "It's not about me and Mahomes. It's the Ravens versus the Chiefs." Ugh, sounds like something you'd say if you don't want it to be about you.
Oh, my
All right,
God.
Marcellus, let's talk, big dog. I'm trying to relax, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad I'm letting my chest breathe. I ain't got no tie on. I'm sweating.
Marvin Gaye shirt on.
A little sunting.
Yes.
What's the stake, man, for Lamar Jackson against Mahomes' Chiefs?
I'm going to keep this real. I'm going to keep this personal.
Please do.
My experience is my expertise.
Yes, sir.
Nothing's at stake for Lamar Jackson versus... I knew it. But I do respect my teammates, and I do respect others. And one thing I hate is a selfish person, so I'm not going to be selfish here. I'm going to talk to my teammates, and I'm going to talk to my co-host, who I know is one of these teammates that believes in voodoo, that is OCD, that has rituals, that is scared to walk down that alley. And it's like, oh my God, here comes Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to talk to y'all. You know, right before pregame, I know Coach going to bring us up, give us some rah-rah that ain't going to work. And then I'm going to come up there and say, look, man, why y'all scared of this team? Why y'all scared of these boys? Why are y'all scared of the Chiefs? And all of y'all are not playing all of them. You're playing your matchup. I'm playing my matchup. I'm playing against the defense, so I'm Lamar Jackson. Let's just break this down to what it really is. Why be scared of something that is not static, which is always going to be different? A team is never the same. So I don't understand when someone comes up and say, oh, we playing them again. First of all, fool, no, we not, because something is different. You know, last week, Cleveland Browns weren't playing the Chiefs of last year because there was no Frank Clark. There was no Honey Badger. And they still went out there, got that close, but lost that game. Point being, it's always change. That's the only thing that's constant, is the change. So what are you scared of? I don't understand that mindset. Now, respecting that some people do believe in that voodoo hex stuff. Okay, let's talk. Let's talk your language. Since you do believe in that and you think, oh, my God, they're our kryptonite and, oh, I don't know what to do. Here's the thing. When you go out there, and you play against your one-on-one matchups, and you play against the Kansas City Chiefs, do you know there's two things we have to do and we have to master? One, we got to play close to our best game. Not perfect, just close to our best game. And two, this is the thing that you got to understand. You can't give it to them. True. Whether it's turnovers, whether it's penalties, or whether it's just not in mental toughness. Like the bully always gets beat up, but you just got to take a few walks to school and take your lumps. Lamar Jackson took his lumps. He's 0-3 right now. He may take even more lumps. I give it to you like this. My man Peyton Manning, oh my God, did he ever take some lumps from Tom Brady? 0-6 against Tom Brady in the beginning. What happened after that? Let's just talk about after that, after you take those lumps and you start listening to me instead of voodoo experts like you. You all of a sudden win 6 of your last 11. That's more than not. You also go 3-2 against Tom Brady in the playoffs. Also 3-1 against him in AFC championship games. What? The same guy who was spooked and scared of Tom Brady and the Patriots? You don't have to be scared, but Acho, it's something at stake for those who are, like you, scared. I boxed you in a little bit, did it?
Everything is at stake in narrative form for Lamar Jackson. Y'all rock with me.
No. Narrative.
Sale, who's your college rival? Who's Columbia's college rival?
Oh, you already know. Brown. Doodoo Brown.
Who won? Okay, great. I assume y'all won most of the matchups.
All of them, I think.
While you were there, y'all won all of them?
Yeah, them and Cornell. Yeah,
beautiful.
We won them all.
You won them all.
And Yale.
There comes a point in time when you're facing a rival that you win so much you realize they're not a rival. They're your little brother.
Oh.
They're not a rival. You son them. Now, the little brother wants to scratch and claw and maintain being a rival, but the big brother no longer even respects you as a rival. They just look at you as a little brother.
Wow.
You called them Doodoo Brown.
Yeah.
That simply speaks to the aspect of, to you, they weren't a rival, deserving of respect. They were a little brother. And what is at stake for Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes this game is being fully and completely Patrick Mahomes' little brother in narrative form. Being Patrick Mahomes' son in narrative form. Y'all know the memes that are going to come out if Lamar Jackson loses this game. Some picture of Patrick Mahomes holding a face of baby Lamar Jackson. It's all going to be in narrative form. We're trying to make Lamar Jackson and Mahomes a rivalry. We've been trying. But eventually, we're going to replace Lamar Jackson with the most competent foe. It might be Josh Allen. It might be Baker Mayfield. It likely will be Justin Herbert. But eventually, we're going to have to find a formidable opponent. In sports, we get paid to create storylines, and we try as desperately as we can to do so across all sports. Track and field again. Justin Gatlin wins a gold medal in 2004 in the 100-meter dash. Usain Bolt wins it in 2008. And all of a sudden, man, if Gatlin wasn't suspended, oh, it's going to be a rivalry. Bolt versus Gatlin. It was never a rivalry. Bolt sons Justin Gatlin every time they're on the track, except the very last time they raced in which Justin Gatlin won, and he bowed to Usain Bolt because he knew his place. He knew that Usain Bolt is the big brother on the track, and Justin Gatlin is the narrative form little brother. So what is at stake is a lot. It's the narrative form of, Lamar, you will no longer be a rival with Patrick Mahomes. You're going to be Patrick Mahomes' little brother. You're not going to be a rival to Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs are going to son you. The fans of the Chiefs probably respect the Ravens right now. Every time they come in town, it's a dogfight.
But eventually they're going to look up and be like, that's just the Ravens. We beat them every time. It happened when I was in college. University of Oklahoma is University of Texas's rival. But there came a point over the history of time where Texas A&M tried to be Texas's rival, but Texas was so good for a period from like 2001 to 2009 that they weren't really a rival. Maybe to them they were, but to us, they was a little brother. So the Ravens might look at the Chiefs like, oh, it's a rival. We got to knock them off. The Chiefs are going to start looking at Lamar Jackson and the Ravens very regular if Lamar Jackson don't win this game.
Okay, I can start to see something. You know me, I'm always looking for tendencies, you know. That's why we spend so much time in prep. Not only on this show, but just in the NFL. We spent so much more time in meeting rooms than we did on practice fields and playing fields. People don't understand that, right? And I used to be one of the studious types. Like, I'm looking for all the tendencies. And I've just found a tendency with you. That when you wear the unbuttoned level, them takes a fire, bro. So button up, bro. Button up. Go get your tie. Wardrobe. Hey, commercial break. Come back normal. What the hell are you on today? Okay. We gonna fight then, because you know me, I'm argumentative. Even if I'm losing, I got one more word, and I got to get that word out. Boy, you on fire right now. Let's talk about the most underrated attribute in life. Perseverance.
Yes,
Pretty
sir.
hard to spell for some people too as well. But perseverance is the most underrated attribute in life, because on the other side of failure is success.
That's true. That's
now,
very
here's
true.
the problem. You don't know how many times you're going to fail before you succeed.
Bingo.
You talking about memes of Patrick Mahomes holding Lamar Jackson. How many memes have you seen of, it took Walmart 7 years to open his second store after all the failures? Walt Disney went bankrupt 4 times before Disneyland was, you know? You hear that all the time. All I'm saying is Peyton Manning heard it as well. You're 0-1 against Tom Brady. You're 0-2, 0-3. You're supposed to be the number 1 pick. That's pick 199. 0-4, 0-5, 0-6. All I want to tell you, Acho, tell the world, that's going to make these memes up was Peyton Manning was still great. Is Peyton Manning still great? Peyton Manning's top 10 all time. What are y'all talking about? So Lamar Jackson still could be all of Lamar Jackson going forward. Here's the thing. Full disclosure, we called him Doo-Doo Brown before we even played him one time. So it wasn't no son in and none of that, brother. That was just a name. I inherited that name. And I caught something you said, like they're going to start little brothering the Ravens. They're going to start sonning the Ravens.
Sir.
Did you watch Dope be a Menace to South Central while drinking the juice in the hood? Because you just did that. Like, your daddy's younger than you. Like, how you gonna little brother and son somebody? Like, what a ghetto family you got. Anyway, Acho is up here plagiarizing. Acho is up here cooking the logic like he likes to do. I'm going to give you Lamar Jackson's history. 0-3, right? That's the resume. You're going to give me his story, which is going to be something, like you said, in narrative form. That's not reality. Reality is you got to knock at the door. How many times do you knock before they open? No, you have to knock at least. That's 0-1. Knock again. 0-2. 0-3. Now, if you knock after that, you better be the police. If you ain't the police, what the hell you doing? Point being, if I'm on this team, I realize we may not be as good as the Chiefs right now, but this season is not about right now. It's about building for later, the marathon. And hopefully these guys can persevere through that marathon.
That's good. That's good, and I think you're fully correct. But let's go back to 04, 05, 03. You were in the league. I was on a video game. I fully remember it wasn't a rivalry between Brady and Manning. By the 3rd or 4th time, we tried to make it in the way of, you knew, at least I knew. I was a fan. You were a player, so you might not have been able to be as non-biased as I was.
Oh, let's talk.
I knew the Patriots were going to win.
Yes.
Now, you feel
Yes,
like
me too.
I knew Peyton Manning was going to go crazy. Edgerrin James was going to do his thing. Reggie Wayne was going to ball. Marvin Harrison was going to get his numbers, and he wasn't going to get tackled. Dallas Clark was going to do his thing with no gloves. I knew them dudes was going to get their numbers. But at the end of the day, it wasn't a rivalry. We tried to make it one. Peyton Manning, number 1 pick. Tom Brady picked to 199. But when the game kicked off, I was like, we know the Patriots are going to win. To your credit and to your point, Peyton Manning ends up 3-2 in the playoffs. Yeah. He has that chip, that 3-2 over Tom Brady, that is. So he has that win.
Yeah.
That wasn't a rivalry early on. Now, if we're talking about can Lamar Jackson still sustain through this? Of course. Now, I would very much so argue it's hard for me to see Lamar Jackson having the longevity of a career as Peyton Manning. Because, I mean, Peyton Manning played forever.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to see that longevity. It's hard for me to see it. But, yes, Lamar Jackson can, in totality, absorb another loss. But in the interim, it's going to be, you son, big dog. Chiefs aren't. In football, respect is not given, respect is earned.
Say it.
Lamar Jackson has not earned the respect of the Chiefs. He's earned the respect of everyone else, but he hasn't earned the respect of the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't really even have reason. We done beat you 3 times. I'm tired of playing you. That's really what, like, this ain't a matchup.
Yeah.
If I beat you 3 times, you can't see me.
Okay, let's do this, though. I don't think that rivalries are completely built off of wins and losses. I think it's built off of interest. I think the building block of a rivalry simply is, I'm interested in you. Now, this is how it goes. Sometimes it's interesting because we are too close in locale. Sometimes it's interesting because, hey, back in the days we did this and back in the days you guys did that. We both have story franchises. We just gonna hate each other because we really envy both of each other. Here's the thing. When you look at this rivalry, there's an interest there that is parallel to Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Let's be real. The better quarterback kept losing. Now in this one, Lamar Jackson, a lot of people go like, he ain't better than Patrick Mahomes. I understand that. But are you interested in seeing how good he can be? That's the conversation. To me, clearly, Peyton Manning was better than Tom Brady, young years, obviously by the numbers as well. However, he didn't make it all materialize. The thing that I see in Lamar Jackson and the great interest in him is people told him he couldn't pass. He led the league in passing touchdowns. People said, okay, well, you're going to get hurt. He's never been hurt. People keep wishing on his downfall and praying on his downfall, and he keeps answering that bell, which makes us interested in seeing, well, how far can this guy go? He has no running backs, and he goes into week 1 and should win a game, but he gives it away. The thing about this rivalry is not wins and losses, just like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. It wasn't early about wins and losses. It's the greater talent, maybe the guy that needs to figure this out, and how far will he go to figure this out? That's where my interest is beyond the 0-3 record.
Here's how kind of I will conclude. We're going to talk about Odell Beckham later in the show. And I don't know that we have the picture, so I will just talk y'all through the story. He had a cryptic tweet, so I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. And Odell's cryptic tweet was a picture of a bunch of dogs in a race, and there was a cheetah still sitting in the stall. So you saw all the dogs running out of their stalls, and the cheetah was still sitting in the stall. The whole world, the sports world, the last 24 hours has been trying to identify, what's this cryptic message mean?
Oh, I know.
So I looked up the meaning of it, and at the end, the whole ethos of the story is the cheetah doesn't have to waste its energy racing a dog. Because at the end of the day, the cheetah's not on the same playing field. Don't waste time proving your worth when it's blatantly obvious. Why do I bring that up? Patrick Mahomes, after being 3-0, and if he wins again and going 4-0 against Lamar Jackson, don't even mention me in the same conversation as him. Like, don't even try to sit here and make this a race. I'm not even going to entertain the conversation because like a cheetah versus a dog, you know who's faster. If Mahomes starts off 4-0 versus Lamar Jackson, then you already know who's better. From here on out, let's just let Mahomes sit in the stall and not bring him up in conversations of any type of narrative rivalry, because it's not if he wins.
Man, damn. It ain't that serious. Brady won the first 6. Peyton won the next 3. What do you do about that? You quit before you get to where you want to go and go. Love what you said about it. Like, right now, they don't seem the same. But except Lamar looks at him like, you got an MVP, I got an MVP. Mine's unanimous, yours wasn't. Whatever. You won a Super Bowl, 1 Super Bowl. You won 1. Like, it'll be different if there was a gap. Like, no matter what Lamar does this year, he still couldn't catch Patrick Mahomes. Be real. Lamar Jackson, if they win the Super Bowl this year, he already called Patrick Mahomes. Got an MVP, unanimous, you do too. What happened to all that dynasty talk? If Lamar Jackson is in the Super Bowl, that means Patrick Mahomes is not. Okay, so now Lamar Jackson is 1 step away. Be very careful if you don't want to go out there and prove your value, prove your worth. You just told me yesterday about Aaron Rodgers. It's a horrible place for an employee to be when they're like, I don't need the job. I ain't got nothing to prove to you. What can you do to me? Lamar Jackson is looking at Patrick Mahomes, and I know Patrick Mahomes is not like this, but I'm just talking in conjecture. Patrick Mahomes, be careful, because 1 misstep, Lamar Jackson has caught you. If Lamar Jackson takes a step forward and Patrick Mahomes stays still, which means only 1 Super Bowl, man, this is going to be a rivalry of great interest. Speaking of this game, fans have won nearly $5 million on the Fox Bet Super 6 app, and Terry Bradshaw's giving away another $1 million this Sunday. Damn, Terry Rich. Chiefs-Ravens is one of the NFL 2 week-up matchups, so Acho, help our fans win Terry's money. Which team will win and by how many points?
Man, give me the Chiefs. And I think they win by 4. It's close at first, but I think that last possession or 2, Patrick Mahomes separates himself.
Okay, and it's the home of the Ravens by 1. That's right. Look at your face. Everybody knows you're supposed to say Chiefs after that. Not me. Go Ravens. scan the QR code on the screen, download the Fox Bet Super 6 app for free, and predict the outcome of 6 NFL games for your shot to win Terry's money. Coming up, Aaron Rodgers was called out by a former teammate and Acho. Greg Jennings is also a former teammate. He'll help us answer if the criticism is valid. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Acho, wardrobe. Let's head to Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is coming off a blowout loss, and his commitment to the team has been called out. But that's not it. His former teammate, Jermichael Finley, has expressed his issues with the Packers' star in the past. And now he has more to say. Take a listen to this.
This is the National Football League. Each offseason, you got to work like it's the last season. And I just don't see a work ethic in Aaron Rodgers that I have in previous years. And actually, you can see it right through his helmet. The eyes and the face tells everything of the personality. And I just don't see it, that NFL hunger and just feel hungry to go win another championship.
So, Acho, you agree with Jermichael Finley's criticism of Aaron Rodgers?
I do to a point.
To a point? What point is that?
At the point in which you start assessing people's corneas and you start reading into the irises and their eyes and whatnot, you start reading into all that. That's when I'm like, okay, you might be doing too much.
Yeah.
However, Aaron Rodgers isn't as dedicated this season. And again, I don't think that's very debatable. He spent his offseason. He usually spends off seasons in Hawaii, but this one appeared excessive. He never is typically contemplated retirement. I'm gonna break this down for y'all in a very real football way. When I was in college, my goal, be an All-American, be one of the best 3 to 9 linebackers in all of college. I came out with Luke Kuechly, Dante Hightower, Bobby Wagner, so I had my work cut out.
Boy,
came out with probably 3 future Hall of Famers at the position. But here's what I knew working out going into my senior year, y'all. I knew this, so I said, okay, everybody in the nation is working out from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Everybody in the nation is. So, Emmanuel, you're not getting better than anybody working out from 6 to 8. Everybody's doing that. We talked a lot about relativity on this show. So while I'm getting better, if everybody else is getting better at the same pace I'm getting better, I ain't getting no better in context. So it's the work that I'm doing while other people aren't working that's separating me. Aaron Rodgers, he was not doing the work this offseason that others weren't doing. Thus, I don't think we're seeing the same separation. Yes, Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure, was throwing the ball at times, and he checked out on his vacation like most other people do. But it's the work you do while others aren't working that separates you. Y'all, don't think you can go to your job from 9 to 5 and think you're going to be better than anybody. Don't think you can do the minimal requirements in life and think you're going to be better than anybody. It's the work you do while others aren't working that actually separates you from everybody else in your industry, in your job, and in this life. Aaron Rodgers ain't been doing the work that others weren't doing, and I think that is what has become apparent.
Oh, man. You agree? So you do agree with Jermichael?
I do. I agree with J-Mike. He went too hard, but I agree with him.
He went so hard, it made me disagree with him.
Okay.
Like, and that's a weird place, because at first when he started talking, I was like, okay. And then, like you said, you start reading people's eyes between the helmet, and you could tell in the week 1 eyes that he can't win the Super Bowl that same year. The hell
You're doing a lot.
What the hell you talking about? You better buy a lotto ticket. You better be at every gas station across America doing Powerball if you can see that damn forward in the future. But you can't, Jermichael Finley. I respect you, but you got a gripe with Aaron Rodgers. This ain't the first time Jermichael Finley has tried to come.
He got beef. We know
he got beef. He got beef. I don't know if it's banquet beef. I'll tell you that story another time. A lot of teammates have banquet beef. You brought the wrong person to this banquet, and they like me because I'm... Okay, anyway, I went through that. Here we go. Let's talk about this situation. I'm going to ask you a question, Nacho. This is trivia. I ain't trying to put you on the spot, but you only one here, damn it. Where did Aaron Rodgers work out in seasons past, in the offseason? Okay, it's a really rhetorical question. He works out at Proactive, which is out here in L.A., way out there, right? Well, all them stars be working out at. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers was there this year or not. But you know what is interesting? People paid attention to where Aaron Rodgers was on vacation this year, but I wonder, those same people, did they pay attention to where he was on vacation in years prior? Maybe he still got the same work in, because in narrative, we're looking at everything. You're under a microscope because you're causing commotion in Green Bay. It's funny that narrative can get away from you. I disagree with you, Jermichael. Aaron Rodgers has responded before. Narratives get away with you, get away from you. Peyton Manning had a narrative, first in, last out. Peyton Manning was first in, last out. You know who else was first in, last out? A lot of sorry-ass quarterbacks, too. A lot of them. First in, last. A lot of them.
That's real.
Come on, man.
That's real.
We've been there.
Real.
Like this whole I outworked you. I hate when people do that to me because I'm like, look, you can work the hardest and someone else can work hard as you. But this whole you can work the hardest and you're by yourself, we all have the same amount of time in our day. No matter how rich you are, how poor you are, how busy you are, how lazy you are, we all got the same bank account of time, 24 hours in a day. So if you want to spend all 24 of your hours playing football, okay, but don't act like somebody can't tie your ass. Somebody else can do 24 hours too, but they may not get the same results. I push back on this because Aaron Rodgers looks like, to me, a guy who just had a bad game. Jermichael Finley. Do you know that Aaron Rodgers actually had a worse game last year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And what did he do after that game? He came back and gave you 4 touchdowns and 131 passer rating the next game. Why don't we give him at least a game to respond like he has in the past before we start saying that week 1, I looked through his eyes and could tell he is not committed and won't win the Super Bowl this year. Got to bring in one of Aaron Rodgers' teammates, his former teammate, Fox NFL analyst, Greg Jennings. Oh, Greg, you got some questions to answer. Do you agree with Jermichael Finley's criticism of Aaron Rodgers?
Well, I think from a spectator's perspective, yeah, you can say whatever you want to say. You can agree, you can disagree. You can draw an analysis of what you feel like you saw. And if that's what Jermichael saw, that's great. I think what we all can agree on is he wasn't prepared, period. This entire team was not prepared for what happened on that football field. And the reason why I can say that there's some of what Jermichael's saying that I can pull from, but not all. And the lack of preparation is where I feel like I could see where he just was relying on how it's always been in the past. Well, you got that jump shot, you got that step back, you got that one move. Oh, I'll do that. It didn't work this time. Oh, shoot. Is that in relation to why I wasn't here or the lack of preparation or the lack of time? But I will say this. We've all played. We've all had guys, if we weren't that guy who was held out, who's drawn attention to themselves because of a decision that was made or a statement that was made or what have you. However, we all also have wanted to guard against what happened to Aaron Rodgers in week 1. And that is when you make a statement the way that he made a statement this offseason, and you say and you make all the demands and you kind of fight for what it is you want, you better be ready to play. When you call out teammates, when you point the blame and it's not directed at yourself, you better ball out when the film is rolling, when the teams collide. You better not be the reason why we lost that game. And that's what Aaron Rodgers was. And that's what he didn't do. He was the reason they lost, along with a lot of other people, but he's going to get the main attention because he garnered the most attention in the offseason. And so when I look at that, I look at a player that's like, oh, shoot, yes, I'm going to bounce back, because we all fear that. A guy who gets paid, their number one fear is, well, I don't want to be the guy that got paid, and now all of a sudden I'm not that guy, that same guy no more. They're going to think I don't have it anymore. They're going to think I don't have that same edge, that same fire. Things are different, but that doesn't mean the expectation of your play from even yourself is going to be different. And it was for Aaron Rodgers. And I think that is what's so alarming. That is what we were like, oh, shoot. Yeah, he's had a game like that before, but he ain't never had no offseason leading up to a game like this before, where all the attention was drawn to himself because of himself. So with that, yeah, you got to take away a little bit. It is one game, but it's a game that leaves a little stain because of all that led up to that game.
Now, G, I know a couple things. I know J-Mike and Aaron Rodgers got beef. They had beef. Hey. And so I know J-Mike probably got a little too much seasoning on this take. Just a little extra pepper, a little bit too much cayenne, maybe too much chili powder. However, I have to disagree with you, Greg, when you say that the Packers weren't ready. This is a problem with narratives in football. I've said this before. A defense gives up a ton of run yards. Oh, they're soft. A team gets blown out. Oh, they weren't ready. Aaron Rodgers wasn't ready. Because as we roll the highlights, the second interception, the pocket was incredibly clean. He just threw it up to, I don't know who, maybe he threw it up to the Angels in the outfield and thought they was going to come down with it. When you talk about that first interception at the goal line, Aaron Rodgers, you know better than to throw that pass. Your team and you had already marched all the way down the field. Y'all were only down 17-3. You scored there 17-10. You score again on the next interception at 17-17. So I don't want to say that everybody wasn't ready, because Aaron Rodgers gave up 2 bonehead plays, only 12 possessions on an average football game. He handed 2 possessions away to the Saints. Rodgers wasn't ready. So it is on Aaron Rodgers that they got blown out. I agree with Mike, my dog, Jermichael Finley, in the aspect of Aaron Rodgers isn't prepared for this season. Now, Rodgers might be so good that he can prepare in the middle of the season. Rodgers might be one of them dudes like Usain Bolt, where it don't matter if you have a bad start. They so good that when that turnover gets to turning over, it's a wrap. But at least in week 1, he wasn't right.
Okay, so this is what I'll respond with that. And I'm going to say, yes, Aaron Rodgers wasn't ready. But when you look at the team, well, he didn't just lose the game because of his performance. They lost the game because of their performance as well. The defense gave up some points. Let's not act like they didn't. And this is how it goes. When you play a team like the New Orleans Saints, who had a quarterback, a Hall of Famer to be, in Drew Brees, and he's no longer there. This is what it sounds like in a locker room. We've all been there. Hey, look, guys, defensively. Hey, look, guys, they got a quarterback. He's been in their system, but he hasn't played in over a year. He's going to give us opportunities. He's going to put the ball in a position for us to make plays. So you go into the game thinking, oh yeah, he gonna get me this pick. I'm gonna get this interception. He gonna be careless with the football. All these different thoughts because you're excited about the failures of your opponent instead of the expectation of the what ifs and just preparing yourself for all that could potentially happen and being so sharp. That is on both sides of the ball. And I think it carried over offensively because no one in the Green Bay Packers organization probably thought that the New Orleans Saints was going to put up points like that Jameis Winston was going to play the way that he did and allow that offense to look the way that it did, and their defensive front dominate the football game all game long. No one thought that. Because of all that precedes the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers, they've been in the last 2 NFC Championship games. They're going to be just fine. They got 1 more season with potentially Aaron Rodgers, or this might get all blown up. So you think they're going to be the more prepared team. You think that they're going to have everything checked when they come into that stadium and strap those helmets and to put on those shoulder pads. But guess who was ready and waiting for them and said, not today? The Saints. That's why I say it was more than Aaron Rodgers. Yes, we know that ain't gonna cut it, period. And the one issue that I do have with this, though, where I can't say I side with Jermichael, but this is where I get on Aaron. Because if this were Tom Brady and Tom Brady had a performance like this, we would be saying, oh, it's over. This is the clip. Oh, it's a done deal. But Aaron Rodgers has this, and because of his talent, because of his ability, and he's always been smooth. That's why I'm not going to sit here and say I can see it in his eyes. I can see the future. He's always gotten up to the podium and act cool as the other side of the pillow, like with that Cali swag, like it's nothing, we'll bounce back. He's always said, relax. Come on, we've all remembered the relax. So I can't put it on that. But what I can say is if this were Tom Brady, how would we all be responding? Would we be saying, well, I think Tom is done? That's my issue with it. And Aaron Rodgers, we know he mentioned possibly entertaining retirement. So that lets me know right there, a player who has entertained retirement and then decided to go into retirement. Once you start to fuddle and fiddle with something on the outside, you're not as locked in as you once were when you never had that entertainment of it before.
Save me some ribs, golly. Okay, this going to be some quick hitters, and we're going to go there real quick. To answer one thing you said, is because you're right. That defense came in with a dull knife. Playing against Jameis Winston, they just wasn't as sharp as if you were playing against Drew Brees again, because you just don't know. And they didn't sharpen their knife before and wasn't fully prepared against Jameis Winston. I give you that. The reason why Tom Brady always is going to hear that cliff conversation simply because of his age. He ever underperforms, we look at his age. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. You ever underperform, we look at your attitude and we say, we're going to question your commitment, because people always are on the edge in terms of accepting Aaron Rodgers' attitude. We get that. I got a question for you, G, since I see your face right there. Why does Jermichael Finley and Aaron Rodgers really have beef? Give it to me short. Give it to me real.
You know what? I can't really answer that question.
You're lying.
For me, I'll go for me. You know, there was never a beef. There was always a feeling of, man, my guy didn't speak up for me when I was on that teeter-tot of staying or leaving. So for me, I squashed all that. Like, that is, I've crossed that bridge. I don't know what is up with Jermichael Finley and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's clapping and praising. Sometimes he's completely severing them with a Ginsu knife. I don't know what's going on.
I thought it was one of those public-private things that we don't know, but y'all know and people can know, so it's all good. I don't want you to out your homie. Yeah, we already know. You already squashed your beef. That's good. Well, let me speak to Jermichael, since I don't know him that well, and he's a big dude, so I don't want to speak out of turn, because if I ever see him, I want to be nice. Aaron Rodgers has had games like this before, Jermichael, and I don't know if you've had podcast interviews like that after those same games. You remember in 2010 when he had no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and they won the NFC Championship game? Oops. 2014 against the Bills, his MVP season, he had that kind of game again. 2020 against the Bucs last year. You know, he won the MVP again last year. So this year, this might be a good sign for Aaron Rodgers. Good things come from him when he's humbled in this way. That said, this is why people don't talk trash. This is exactly why people don't cause commotion. This is why you don't peacock in life. And I hate this, because it's fear-based. Like, if you talk trash in all season to do something and then you don't play well, we're going to jump on you. Well, jump on me then. Let's separate the real from the fake. And these two things don't have to be connected, but we're going to marry them right now. Last thing I want to say, I don't even know if it fully applies, but I got to give some respect out. Here's what commitment means to me. Bruce DeHaven was our special teams coach in Buffalo. #1 special teams coach. Rest in peace, Bruce DeHaven. I remember when we went into the meeting, he knew nobody wanted to play special teams. Duh. We all want to be starters on offense and defense. Who in the hell wants to be there? He said, guys, if you give me 100%, I won't guarantee you guys will ever block a kick. I won't guarantee you achievement. But if you don't give me 100%, I will guarantee you'll never block a kick. Aaron Rodgers, you somewhere between 0 and 100%. Hopefully it's the latter. Coming up, week 2 gets underway tonight in Washington. But we're looking all around the league for intriguing matchups and who needs to show us something. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Welcome back. Otto just pulled a vet move through his cards over there. Keep in mind, rookie, we're just hours away from week 2 kicking off in the nation's capital. But before that, our new weekly segment takes a look at the biggest storylines around the league. So here's our week 2 watch. A lot of great matchups to look forward to. But Acho, which one is the most intriguing?
This might be my favorite question, Sel, because you have to read between the lines and the layers for the most intriguing matchup. For me, it is the 49ers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Why is this so intriguing? Of all the games, this will tell you the most this week. Here's what I mean.
Let's go.
49ers won a game last week, but it was against a very bad team, the Detroit Lions. The Eagles won a game last week, but it was against a very bad team, the Atlanta Falcons. Again, everything is relative. Are the Eagles and the Niners good, or did they just beat bad teams? Now that they're both facing each other, we'll actually learn something about that. We'll learn if the Niners are good. We'll learn if the Eagles are good. Jalen Hurts, 3 touchdown passes, no picks. Is that a Hurts thing or is that a Falcons thing? Jimmy G, he balled and didn't get benched. Is that a Jimmy G thing or is that a Lions thing? This matchup sells so intriguing because we'll learn a ton.
But the 49ers are supposed to be good, and the Eagles are supposed to be bad, right? So you're intrigued by that. You think that they bounce back. Interesting. Are you going to that game? Oh, but I'm going to my most intriguing matchup. That's right. Cowboys and Chargers. Look at me. I ain't no rookie. I got a couple dollars left. Cowboys and Chargers. Let's just talk about this situation right here. My God, Dallas is trying to bounce back from their loss to the champions. So let's not be too hard on the Dallas Cowboys. Well, why do they have to bounce back on the road against the dark horse to make the playoffs and make some Super Bowl noise and the LA Chargers? They got a quarterback. Who's better, Dak or Justin Herbert? I'll wait. Okay, that's the problem. So Dallas Cowboys may find themselves leaving Los Angeles 0-2 and still a better team than even your intriguing matchup, Philadelphia Eagles.
So why are you already teasing a couple blocks later who's better, Dak or Justin Herbert?
Oh, you know that because I'm doing TV, baby. I told you I ain't no rookie. Let's talk quarterbacks. We have star quarterbacks looking to bounce back and 3 rookies looking for their first NFL W. Throw it up, Jameis. So, Acho, who is your quarterback to watch heading into week 2?
Sell is going back to my dog Carson Wentz because he was good in week 1, but he wasn't great. He completed 10 straight balls, first time since 2019. Not only that, 102 passer rating. He hasn't been that good since December 22nd of 2019, but it was still night and day when you were watching Wentz versus Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson looked elite. Wentz looked competent. I need to see Wentz. You're going against a really good defense. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. Oh, Aaron Donald, Quentin Nelson. That's really the matchup to watch. But you're going against a really good defense, Carson Wentz. I just want to learn more about you this week and see what you got for me.
You ain't got enough evidence on Carson Wentz. It's going to be like this. You ever go to Six Flags? They got a new ride called the Wentzinator. It's always up and down, man. Quarterback to watch, is Tyrod Taylor. Let me say why. Tyrod Taylor has never been on the show in full screen and never gotten his love, and well-deserved, because Tyrod Taylor has never been as good as he was last week. We saw Tyrod Taylor light it up. Tyrod Taylor looked like a difference maker out there. And now he's improved his record to 25-21-1. Why do I bring that up? That's a better win percentage than even Deshaun Watson has. Are you kidding me? Did they find their franchise quarterback just out of luck, or did they really luck up into something amazing? Now, Cho, what you think about Tyrod Taylor?
You know what's crazy, though, Sel? It would be such amazing NFL irony that Tyrod Taylor loses his job last year, unfortunately, because of an unforeseen, out-of-his-control situation. Then he regains a job because of a very unfortunate situation currently going on for so many people. I don't know. It's just very interesting. What's crazy to me, how Tyrod Taylor never gets no respect. He won in Buffalo. I think he took your Bills to the playoffs in 2017.
Before job.
He's actually a good quarterback. It's good to see him get a shine.
Yeah, he looked good. Actually looked great. Finally, let's talk players with something to prove. Acho, who's your show me something player week 2?
Show me something. Julio Jones. And don't just show it to me. You better show it to Mike Vrabel, too.
You better not calling you out.
Julio needs to show me something, Sel, because he had 3 catches, 29 yards, couple drops week 1. That's his lowest offensive output in week 1 of any season in the entirety of his career. Julio, we know you're a beast. You're probably a future first ballot Hall of Famer, but you're in Tennessee. It's not really your team. It's Derrick Henry's team now. Can you fit into that roster seamlessly? You need to show me something. You need to show the Titans fans something, but more importantly, show yourself and show your head coach Mike Vrabel something, because everybody's flipping.
That's interesting. You piling on, huh? Mike Vrabel gives you a pass and you're just going to run with it, huh? Now, not only are you disrespecting Julio Jones 1 week, but you start saying stuff like probably a future Hall of Famer.
First ballot. That's a probably first ballot.
Is he
definitely first ballot?
Definitely first ballot. That's Julio Jones. Damn, you and Mike Vrabel need to go out and have a drink and get some respect for that man right there. So here's a guy that we need to talk about. You got to show me something. Daniel Jones. What the hell is going on? I don't know how Daniel Jones could hide in plain sight. He is not playing well in New York City and is not under fire just yet, but it's time to turn the heat up a little bit. Listen to these statistics career-wise. Last in win percentage, completion percentage 4th worst, passing yards per attempt 3rd worst, and passer rating 2nd worst. What the hell you doing, Daniel Jones? You know I am a cheerleader for you. You have tremendous talent. You are a dual threat quarterback, but golly, Daniel Jones, you got to get some wins going. You got to get this thing rolling.
I think Daniel Jones, it's not hyperbole to say, he's playing for his career this year.
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky was playing for a starting job last year. Now he's a backup. But Mitch was overdrafted, but still shown some competency. Daniel Jones was overdrafted. We all remember that. But now he ain't even played well. I don't know if it's too crazy to say, like, hey, if you don't play well this season, you might not even find a seat in the NFL game of musical chairs.
Yeah, because the young quarterbacks got to hit the ground running now. We saw Patrick Mahomes, first year as a starter. What did he do? Win MVP. Lamar Jackson, first year as a starter, win MVP. Like, they don't even want to hear about the injury concerns or anything. Lamar Ravens, all the running backs are gone. You look at Dak Prescott, he goes out there, offensive line issues. Who cares? You got to go out there and perform. And Daniel Jones, boy, it's on you. That'll do it for a week 2 watch. Be sure to watch us break it all down on Monday. Now, coming up, Dallas has a star on their helmet. I used to wear it. I know it. But they're missing some stars on the field. We'll tell you if Dak is good enough to keep them afloat. That's next on For Yourself. See you Sunday, Dak, with an L.
Now, Dak Prescott and his Cowboys, they got to try to bounce back from their season-opening loss to the Bucs. But they're dealing with a lot of obstacles. The Pro Bowl defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a broken foot. He's joining fellow starters Randy Gregory, Lyle Collins, and Michael Gallup, who are all currently out as well. Got to bring in Greg Jennings. My dog. Greg, let's talk quarterbacks, and it ain't Aaron Rodgers. It's Dak Prescott this time. Is Dak good enough to keep the Cowboys afloat?
Yeah, he's good enough, but it's not just about Dak Prescott. Like, I'm going to say, yes, he's good enough because he's always given us what he's given us, but it's never been good enough to get them over the hump. So whether or not Dak is good, it doesn't just boil down to Dak Prescott, because when they've had everybody, all hands on deck, they haven't gotten it done. So for me, you brought in Dan Quinn to be a difference maker as a defensive coordinator. You lose your best, arguably your best defensive player. Now you got a couple studs, a couple dudes, as you like to call them, Macho, that probably feel like I'm that guy. And that's Micah Parsons, that's Trayvon Diggs, that's a lot of guys on that defense, but those two primarily, and they're young, inexperienced guys. But how can you generate that pass rush, generate getting sacks, continue to get the turnovers and the pressure that you know you would get out of a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence? Now, it's not going to just take one guy. It's going to take them collectively as a whole, but this is not just solely on Dak and what his ability to put up points and produce all these stats. He's always done that. This is a collective effort. This is on the defense as a whole. Can we step up and be the defense that's needed as a unit versus a one-man wrecking crew?
Nah, Greg, I can't let you do that. And you my dog, big dog. We talk off camera. I ride with you. You've been one of the biggest supporters of your boy, but I got to come at you right now. Here's the thing, Greg. You have too much TV experience to avoid a question.
Oh.
You've been doing too many shows for too long to avoid a question. Yeah. We had our dog Greg Olson on here yesterday.
Oh, he did it
for 2 minutes.
Good Lord.
Fancifully giving us wonderful jargon and didn't answer that in one question. But he a rookie. You ain't. It sounds like what you're saying is Dak's not good enough. That's really it. You're like, I mean, Dak is good enough, but what about everybody? There is no but what about. If Dak is good enough, then Dak would be good enough. Period. Don't put a comma where a period's supposed to be, G.
No comma.
Period's supposed to be there. So it should just simply be Dak is good enough. Not, well, Dak is good enough, but Dan Quinn, but Micah Parsons. Well, Dak is good enough, comma, if Dan Quinn, if Mike McCarthy. No. Dak is good enough, period. Because what I can say is Aaron Rodgers is good enough. Period. Not talking about week 1 Aaron Rodgers, but the Aaron Rodgers we're used to saying. I can say Tom Brady is good enough. Period. Tom Brady is good enough to overcome 4 turnovers, 3 of which were other people's fault, 1 of which was right before the half. Tom Brady is good enough to overcome Ronald Jones fumbling. Tom Brady is good enough to overcome interception because Leonard Fournette couldn't catch at the time. Tom Brady is good enough to overcome, period. Not all these other things. So I want to hear the period, G, and you gave me some commas, and I don't like commas, at least to run on sentences or careful takes.
You messing up some commas.
Okay, so really quick, I'm going to give you a period.
Please.
Because you're talking about wins and losses now. Well, if that's the case, none of the Cowboys been good enough. Period.
True.
Because basically what we're saying is Dak Prescott, he can play well, but he's never been good enough to overcome all the woes. That means if we got
overcomer work.
Here we go. If we got a jar and Dak Prescott is the only one pouring water in it and everybody else is poking holes in it, is he still not good enough?
There he goes.
Are you leaking?
You go. All you doing is stalling right now. Wait. You better throw some punches out, yo.
Do I have my full screen?
Go.
Do I have my full screen?
Greg.
Thank you. Greg. You used the word, Greg, overcomer.
That is
You
random.
said Dak is not good enough to overcome.
Wow.
Look at the 4 overcomers in the NFL.
Wow.
Brady, Mahomes, Rodgers, Wilson. You don't have to give me anything else besides, is Brady on my team? Is Mahomes on my team? Is Rodgers on my team? Is Wilson on my team? Greg said the word inadvertently. Y'all got it now.
Yeah,
Let me look at my dog.
But Greg.
He said it inadvertently, Marcellus Wiley.
He did.
Dak is not an overcomer.
The universe knows that take needs some help. So they added Greg to it, but it still ain't good enough. But if you add up all those, Tom Brady should be by himself on that screen, first of all.
Yeah,
but let's add up. The other three dudes got 3 collective rings together. That ain't even half of Tom Brady. Why are they on the same level, same screen as Tom Brady? And it's funny, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and Russell Wilson are just one step away from Dak catching these. Ooh, about to curse. Dak catching them people. 1 ring, they all got 1. You act like Dak is he out this race. All Dak got to do is finish the deal this year, and then they got something. Let's talk about Dak, because he's good enough. Excuse me, I'm sorry. He's great enough to keep the Cowboys afloat. Y'all got to remember one thing about Dak Prescott. I'm going to take you back to the huddle. And when we're in the huddle, we used to sit there and practice. Let's go to practice. The coach break up the huddle and practice. He said, all right, guys, let's just go out there and have a good practice. I want you guys to perform well. Oh, okay. First thing he said, performer. He ain't worried about outcome because right now it's practice. We ain't even tripping on the outcome. Just wants to see us go out there and practice well, perform well. Well, I'm going to take Performance Boulevard to the winning address. The winning address is the Dallas Cowboys getting another Super Bowl championship. However, how do you get there? You got to have winning performances. Don't you dare come up here and act like Dak Prescott's not giving you winning performances. Dak Prescott, 403 passing yards single-handedly because he didn't have a running game in week 1. Went out there and almost beat the Super Bowl champions. And he played well enough to beat them. But did his running game play well enough? Did his kicker play well enough? Did the referees help in certain situations? Offensive PR. No. So Dak Prescott has 72 completion percentage. He is 16-2, and one of those games is against the Super Bowl champion Bucs last week. 16-2 when he puts up those numbers. So what I'm saying is what Greg said. He pouring the water, bruh. Somebody poking holes in this thing, and it's just that simple.
Yeah, man, he's good enough. He's always been good enough because when you look at this question, you got to kind of break it in half. You can't say, is Dak good enough to overcome? Because what you're saying is, despite what the opposition does, I have to overcome that. I have to overcome what we are as a team. I have to overcome all the faults. And the reality is this team just has not proven that they're elite of elite. On paper, they have a lot of talent, but a lot of those guys haven't stepped up to fill in their void and to plug those holes that are leaking at the bottom. Dak Prescott has always done his part. He has not been the problem. Now, if you want to look at the question, let's look at it for that. Is Dak the problem? No, Dak has never been the problem. He's just the one that is, fortunately, we are still looking at him, making it seem like, well, Dak has to be Tom Brady. Dak has to be Aaron Rodgers. Dak has to be Russell Wilson. Dak has to be Patrick Mahomes. But one thing they all have is L's. And L's to that guy, Tom Brady, that you put on the same full screen as if he's on the same playing field. So I'm with Marcellus. Man, look, Dak is one win away, one big win away from catching all those other guys.
Them dudes, all them overcomers. Get your butt out of here.
G,
you want the mic?
Let me break this down for you, G, because I trust your intellectual capacity to digest that. Now, as y'all digest that list, remember those names.
Take Brady off
when y'all see your boy, it's time to go to work.
Get Brady off that list.
Let's talk Tom Brady first and foremost, shall we? Because this is an overcomer, Greg Jennings. You're marching down the field to put the game away. You are up 28-26. You got to go put the game away. You throw the ball to your star receiver, Chris Godwin. Instead of him scoring, he fumbles. Cowboys get the ball back. They go down the field. They take the lead, 29-28. Tom Brady didn't complain that Chris Godwin had fumbled, particularly not after Ronald Jones had fumbled, which led the Cowboys to a score, particularly not after Leonard Fournette had cost Tom Brady an interception. He just overcame everything. Yeah. Let's talk Aaron Rodgers. Statistically, worst defense in Packers history for the first 4 games of the season. He started off with a record of 4-0. Let's talk Russell Wilson. Statistically, second worst defense in the NFL. Russell Wilson started off with a record of 4-0. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes. I put an asterisk by him as an overcomer because he actually hasn't had to overcome, so I'll just talk about the 3 I've mentioned. Those gentlemen They don't worry about what else is going on around them. Maybe they do worry about it. It just does not matter. They still find a way to win. Dak Prescott is very, very good. He started out as a rookie, Greg, 13-3, had an incredible offensive line, had a young Des Bryant, had a great Cole Beasley in the side, had a pre-retirement in the side, had a pre-retirement Jason Witten. He was 13-3. But the second is left tackle Tyron Smith dealt with injuries the next year. Des Bryant, he gets hurt. You don't get the same performance from him. Cole Beasley didn't do his thing as much. Jason Witten now flirting with retirement. Dak Prescott was not the same dude. Is Dak very good? Yes. Just like Matthew Stafford is very good. But there are certain quarterbacks, Greg Jennings, who, you know what? Y'all can have 4 turnovers like Tom Brady's team did. They literally betrayed him in the midst of the game, and Brady still won. Russell Wilson's defense was literally the worst, giving up yards per play, and he was still 4-0. Aaron Rodgers' defense was atrocious, and he still started out 5-0. Dak Prescott's defense was historically bad, and he was 1-3. Some people have the ability to overcome, even in the midst of how terrible those are around him.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
I have never seen the goalpost geometry movement I just witnessed right there. We were talking Super Bowls, and then we just broke that down to 4-0s
Regular
and
season
5-0s. Wait, that's what 13-3, so I don't even want to do that little weakness. I want to see that list one more again because I see Patrick Mahomes up there who hasn't overcome anything according to Acho. Interesting.
Put an asterisk.
Asterisk. Yeah. But he still had to overcome the offensive line in the Super Bowl because he didn't even score a touchdown, and he still only has 1 ring. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. They gave him a top 10 defense once. He gets his 1 ring. Every other year, does he overcome? We shall
keep them afloat?
Nope.
Does he keep them afloat?
What about Russell Wilson?
Does he keep them afloat?
It took a damn legion. It took a damn legion. It took a galaxy to get this dude 1 ring. And yeah, you're going to look at Dak, who got this porous defense.
Gentlemen.
Where his ring should come from.
Gentlemen.
Yes.
Gentlemen.
Can I talk?
Unfortunately.
I'm going to start talking with these fingers.
You can. Go ahead.
Okay, let's go.
Go ahead.
Was Dan Marino good enough? No. Fran Tarkenton, Warren Moon, anybody else good enough? Dan Fouts, anybody else? What about other positions? Was Bruce Smith good enough? I got a little list right here of people don't you ever open your mouth and say something bad about. And that list goes like this. It goes Lamar Jackson, Drew Bledsoe, Wade Phillips, Bruce Smith, T.O., and Dak Prescott. Now, I'm going to let this segment breathe. I'm going to let you go, Acho, but watch yourself, homie, because you already done said too much against Dak Prescott.
Here's all I'm going to say, Greg and Sel.
What?
The question is Dak good enough to keep the Cowboys afloat?
Yes.
He was not good enough last year while his defense was struggling to keep them afloat. I bring up regular season, Greg Jennings, and you are an analyst, so do not defy your analytic credentials for the sake of spewing opinionated nonsense. Russell Wilson kept the Seahawks afloat last year. Aaron Rodgers kept the Packers afloat last year. Russell Wilson kept the Seahawks afloat when he had to lead the team in rushing and passing in 2017. Although they missed the playoffs, they still were 9-7. That is afloat. Dak Prescott was 1-3 last year with his defense that bad. So if the question is Dak good enough to keep the Cowboys afloat? The answer, based on the history we have seen, is no. Russ can overcome and keep you afloat. Rodgers can overcome and keep you afloat. Brady was 12-4 with the team that Cam Newton was 7-9 with, really. Cam Newton didn't play all 16. He played 15, so y'all get the point. These gentlemen are good enough to keep their teams afloat. Dak Prescott, based upon the evidence he has given us, is not.
Oh, Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you. This boy gonna give me a heart attack up here. Coming up, should Cam Newton stay near the phone if Washington struggles tonight? Speaking of Cam, Acho, we'll answer that. That's next. Don't speak for yourself. Can Cam keep Washington afloat? Tonight, Thursday Night Football is on NFL Network as Saquon Barkley, the Giants, take on Chase Young at Washington. The NFC East Showdown tonight, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on NFL Network. Sticking with tonight's matchup, Ryan Fitzpatrick is out, so Taylor Heinicke is the starter for Washington against the Giants. But another quarterback is all over the rumor mill. That's Cam Newton. His former teammate Thomas Davis said if Heinicke struggles tonight, quote, Coach Rivera is going to go and really look hard at bringing Cam Newton in. So, Acho, You think Cam will get a call of Heinicke struggles tonight?
Unfortunately, no, and that's a huge indictment on Cam, but let's call a spade for y'all that do not know. Ron Rivera, head coach for Washington, was the head coach of the Panthers. We all know that much. But Taylor Heinicke was on the Panthers roster in 2018. Kyle Allen, who's also currently a quarterback for Washington as a backup, was on the Panthers roster 2019. So Ron Rivera had the opportunity at Cam Newton, who he used to coach, and instead he chose both Kyle Allen and Taylor Heinicke at some point over Cam Newton. Remember, Cam Newton was on the street after Ron Rivera was named head coach for Washington, the football team. So it's a huge indictment on the fact of if they wanted you, they would have already had you, big dog. And that's how I look at it, Sel. Like, not only that, Washington gave up something for Kyle Allen. They gave up a 5th-round pick for a backup Kyle Allen from Carolina. You could have had Cam Newton for free and for the cheap, and you chose not to have him. They won't pick him up. It would be wishful thinking to think they would pick him up. I'm not convinced that Cam Newton will play again anytime soon. I don't want to go so far as to say I'm not convinced Cam Newton will play again. I just don't want to put that in the airwaves. But I don't think he will play again anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in airwaves. I think he's done. I said that before. I'm going to say it now. And
you don't mean it.
What I hope I don't mean it. I hope it doesn't come true, but I think it's the reality, and my words are not connected to his actions and connected to his opportunities. It's just not that easy. It's not that simple. Why do I think he's done? Because of this situation that he's posed with right now. I don't think he's going to even get a phone call after this. Cam Newton is in that fringe starter place that we always talk about, the place that Colin Kaepernick found himself, right? The place where Tim Tebow found himself. The first version of Tim Tebow, quarterback. The same place where Johnny Manziel found himself, where you're better than somebody on some roster as a backup. But I don't know about calling you for that opportunity, because this is the logical equation. Cam, you did too little when we asked you to do a lot, New England last year. And you're going to be too much for us to bring you in to just do a little.
That's good.
Y'all figure that one out. Y'all figure out where Cam Newton is right now. And I hate to say this, man, but it's an awareness button that Cam Newton is not fully activating right now. You just got to know how people are perceiving you. I think a lot, and especially in today's world, we're so caught up in expressing your voice and you matter and all these things that we forget that there's also a reception to that. And that doesn't mean you should change in authenticity who you are. It just means that you got to respect that this is how it lands as well. Cam Newton, you are just perceived as too much in a backup situation. So it's just going to be funny to see how it plays out. But I hate to say it, man, I think I'm right. I don't think Cam's getting a call or he's getting another opportunity. Coming up, Dak's Cowboys are headed to L.A. to face Justin Herbert's Chargers on Sunday, and I'll be there to greet him at the airport. What it do? We'll tell you which quarterback we'd rather have on our team. That's next. Oh, speak for yourself.
The Cowboys matchup against the Chargers Sunday features 2 of the top young quarterbacks in the game. Now, Dallas's defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, said practicing against Dak will help his defense against Justin Herbert. We want to think big picture with these 2 quarterbacks. So, Sel, you're going to be at the game. You're going to have a front row seat. Which quarterback would you rather have?
Boom, boom.
Dak Prescott?
Boom, boom. Pulling at my heart
Justin
right now.
Herbert.
Oh, man. Golly. This is a tough question just because I played for both franchises. Obviously, I had more success at one franchise than the other, which makes it a little easier of a question. And then I look at these 2 quarterbacks, and I come to the realization that I'm going to take the one with the higher ceiling. Y'all know what I'm about to say is Justin Herbert. Name a bigger arm in the NFL that throws more efficiently. I asked you, Acho. You're still an analyst at heart, even though you turned into an Emmy Award winner 2-time and now host. And what else are you into? Movies, acting, seeing your commercials? You big time. But still, you started off just breaking the game.
That's real.
Right? And you know, when we're in that room and we're looking at these 2 talents, let's take away what we've heard about them. Let's just look at them. Oh, Justin Herbert, man, you off to a fast start. We saw him carve up one of the top defenses last week. No sacks. Went out there, 337 passing yards, touchdown. And more importantly, I just look at Justin Herbert and say, you know that he can throw it. end zone to end zone. But he doesn't. He's methodical with it. Best third down percentage we saw in week 1 of all quarterbacks. And you also saw a guy who was the first and the fastest to 400 completions in their first 16 starts. Justin Herbert's a monster, dog. I don't know what about him that I don't like. His size, his mobility, his acumen, his efficiency, and more importantly, his talent. So no slight to you, Dak, because you know you're on my Mount Rushmore protected, loved players. But Justin Herbert is the one I'm choosing.
Surprisingly so, I'm going Dak. And I'm going Dak not because I necessarily disagree with you, but I haven't seen enough, man. Anything Justin Herbert has done, Dak Prescott has also done. Now, Justin Herbert's only had 1 year in the league. That's also part of the problem. Herbert had a 30-10 season. Dak Prescott had a 30-10 season. But when Dak Prescott had a 30-10 season, he actually was 500. Justin Herbert's 30-10 season, he was 6-9.
Oh, you doing
Justin
that?
Herbert just hasn't even shown us that his team can win. He's only had a 1-year sample size. So all of my statements that undermine Justin Herbert is really pointing out the fact that Justin Herbert's disqualified from the conversation. Like you've run one race, so to speak. Run. Anything that Herbert's done, I'm like, could Dak not have done that?
Oh, yeah.
Herbert's a great runner. Dak's a solid runner. Herbert's got a big arm. Dak's got a big arm. Herbert's arm is bigger. But at this point in time, the intangible is leadership, is being a captain, captainship, if that's a word. I know Dak Prescott has that ability. Justin Herbert just hasn't had the opportunity to prove to us he has that ability. If you had to give me one for this season, give me Dak Prescott.
Don't do this. Don't do it. Now you're going to make me attack Dak because I always like to win arguments. Okay, let's do this. Who has the best passer rating last year against playoff teams? Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. And then who's right behind him? The MVP, Aaron Rodgers. Who's right behind him? Wait a minute. On that losing team? That guy? Justin Herbert? Oh, you did your part. Justin Herbert, 111. Get out of my face, man. Was Dak Prescott ever a rookie? Yeah. Did you think so? Who set the rookie records after you, Dak, for touchdown passes?
Dak got an MVP vote.
That's our vote. Did he have 31 touchdowns? No. Passing yards per game. Did he have more than Justin Herbert? Nope.
Who had a better rookie year?
300 yards.
Who had a better rookie
games?
year?
8, huh?
Who had a better rookie year, sir?
Who became the first quarterback
who had
as a rookie?
Better
2 or more touchdown
year,
passes,
sir? Rookie to rookie.
Well,
Dak
you say
Prescott was better than Justin Herbert.
Oh, they playing rookie to rookie this year? This Sunday is rookie to rookie?
Even still.
Okay. This is... I'm going to answer your question for real.
Please.
And go to commercial real fast so you better guess it. Justin Herbert had the second best completion percentage of any rookie in NFL history.
Who would you rather be?
And number 1 was Dak Prescott. Odell Beckham Jr. is still not ready. Damn, Dak good. Not ready to suit up for the press. I ain't talking to you, Octo. We'll tell you if we were worried about OBJ. That's next on Speak for Yourself. I told you it's going to happen fast. I said Justin Herbert. Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ, has not played since last October, and he's still not ready to suit up. Kevin Stefanski said OBJ has not had a setback in his recovery from an ACL injury, but he still ruled him out for Sunday's game, saying he wanted the other receivers to get all the reps to help the game plan. Interesting. Acho, are you worried about Odell Beckham Jr.?
Obviously. And I've been worried about Odell since the day he left New York, since the day he left the biggest market. This story of Odell Beckham may hurt my heart more than just about anything in recent NFL besides Cam Chancellor's neck injury, not letting him continue to play. What appears to now be Cam Newton's kind of fall from grace. My dog Earl Thomas and his fall from grace. Odell Beckham's story is right in line with that when it comes to the devastation I feel thinking about these greats.
Falling.
And just the candle burning out that quickly.
Yeah.
Man, Odell was a mega star, y'all. Not a superstar, not a star, not a some star. He was a mega star. I must remind everyone, if you ever saw somebody with blonde hair and a full beard, that was because of Odell.
Especially the old dudes.
Oh, my God. Odell Beckham made a group of people change the way they look because of him. He was bigger than bigger than the sport, but he was bigger than the position at minimum. Dude had a shoe deal, a 5-year, $29 million shoe deal, unheard of for a wide receiver, mega. And then he goes from New York, which wasn't good, but it's a mega city, state, to Cleveland, which wasn't good and just wasn't good.
Yeah.
So, Sel, I'm worried about him, one, from the football perspective. I always have been. He ain't had a back-to-back 100-yard game since he's been in Cleveland. This hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Health-wise, we waiting on him to come back. But then his brand, man, like, we haven't seen a star this bright get dimmed this quickly maybe in the last 20 years. Terrell Davis, somebody brought up a good point. Terrell Davis goes from being NFL MVP to out the league in 3 years. But we haven't seen a star as bright as Odell flame out as this quickly. At least it appears to be flamed out thus far. It's saddening. Like, I loved Odell. I love Odell. Everything he is, does, stands for, persona, I'm all for. Maybe because I witnessed it firsthand playing for the Eagles in 2014 when he got drafted in 2014. But so this one really, like, it saddens me. It saddens me.
Dog, you ain't lying, man. I ain't seen the fire go out this fast since my career. My first 2 years, I was balling out of control, just fell off like a mug. Let me talk the real. I am worried about Odell Beckham Jr. Boy, yes, I am. Some things are just not a good fit, big dog. I really believe human beings are just energy vessels, and we need the proper support. We need the proper conduits. We need the proper electricity to go around us and through us for us to be our best. I don't think Odell's in the best place for him. Now, there are two reasons why I think that. One, that explanation from Coach is suspect as hell. Let me take you back to my NFL. When Coach was like, Marcellus, can you play Wednesday? No. Thursday? No. Friday? No. Sunday? I got a shot for you. You gonna play? Yeah. Okay. We ain't talking about who need reps for the game plan. When Coach starts saying we gonna get the other guys some reps for the game plan instead of just hoping and praying every single night, Odell Beckham, please play, that's telling me something. Coach, I caught that, Kevin Stefanski. I'm watching how you're gonna treat OBJ. Let's talk about the other reason. Remember that narrative going around that Baker Mayfield's better without OBJ? How'd that turn out? Baker Mayfield, in the 12 games since OBJ was hurt last year, 7-5. Now, wait a minute. This team won. Wait a minute. You take away the number. This team won 11 games last year, but they 7-5 without. Okay. Let's talk about his completion percentage, 63. That's not great. 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. People get excited about that. In 12 games, you have 15 touchdowns. Let me just give you the projection of what that looks like for a full season. 20 touchdowns. That's pedestrian, brother. So here's the thing. Their offense lacks fireworks, explosiveness. I love Jarvis Landry. I love Jarvis Landry in a very conventional way. Not to take the top off of a defense, but to just go out there, be a professional, be a Pro Bowl player, and move the chains. But when you're talking about taking the top off, they need that deep threat. They need OBJ. Now let's talk about the superstar OBJ. Golly. My daughter's favorite athlete, like insane. It got weird for me for a second there because I was like, you like him too much. Because I see him, you know what I'm saying? I know him, that's a little homie. So we're at this event and all the superstars are walking by. And, you know, they say hi and I say hi. And I'm kind of like, the father in me is wanting my daughter to just like, oh, wow, that's LeBron, and take a picture. And she's like, no. She's just sitting there looking cute. I'm like, I'm kind of like sticking my neck out here, like, baby. She like, OBJ comes. I get hit in the head. I lose my mind. I lose my professionalism. I almost lost my job because OBJ's in the building. Point is, man, how the greats have fallen. Coming up, who has more on the line tonight for the Giants? Daniel Jones or Joe Judge? We'll answer that, and we'll be the judge. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Daniel Jones has struggled against the rest of the league, but he's a perfect 4-0 against Washington. Now his head coach, Joe Judge, is trying to prevent his squad from going 0-2 to start the season. So, Sal, who got more on the line tonight in the big game? Daniel Jones or Joe Judge?
It's Daniel Jones, man. That youngster right there, he better watch himself because you need to stick out in a positive way. If not, the indictment is on. Look at this. The young quarterbacks in our league hit the ground running when they're special. Justin Herbert, yep. Patrick Mahomes, yep. Lamar Jackson, yep. Even Dak Prescott, yep. Hey, Daniel Jones, you want to be special in this league? You better get something going because fourth worst, third worst, second worst, and last in win percentage ain't going to cut it.
I'm going to say Joe Judge, Sal, and it's Joe Judge because Joe Judge might literally lose his job during the course of the season. Now, Daniel Jones might get benched during the course of the season, but he'll still be a part of the New York Football Giants. Joe Judge, on the other hand, you might just be out the league if you don't get right. I think Joe Judge got to get it straight.
Most lost fumbles in college, second was Daniel Jones. Most lost fumbles in the NFL since he's been in there? Daniel Jones. That's it for us. See you tomorrow. Come on. Don't fumble the bag.